Welcome back. Fox29 investigates tonight. It's a new law aimed at curbing handgun violence.
Yeah, but is Philly's new gun permit law about to be shot down? Jeff Cole's been looking into that question. Jeff, this controversial new measure, I guess, could be challenged?
As soon as they enforce it, it is very much likely to be challenged. Now, it was passed by the City Council to help keep bad guys from legally carrying handguns on Philadelphia streets. But now the new law appears headed for a showdown, a shootout between city lawmakers, the state, and the federal government. They can save lives as well as take them. And depending on which end of the barrel you're looking down, they're either a blessing or a curse. There are nearly 100 million handguns in the United States, and deciding who's fit to legally carry one is a hot-button issue.
I feel as though it depends on the situation and the person.
Well, I think the whole thing about gun permits is ridiculous.
It's just crazy enough out here as it is.
Perhaps nowhere is the concealed permit debate louder than right here in Philadelphia, where just 2 months ago, a new law went on the books, making it illegal for anyone to carry a firearm in the city unless their permit was issued in Pennsylvania. It's an attempt to close the so-called Florida loophole, which allows questionable persons with no criminal convictions to get permits, usually online or through the mail. The permit is valid in 35 states. Applicants need only supply their fingerprints and proof they have completed a firearms training course. In Pennsylvania, no training is required, but a character provision allows cops some discretion. But there's a problem. It turns out that new law may not be worth the paper it's printed on. That's because Pennsylvania and Florida have a reciprocal agreement to honor each other's gun permits. That means Philly cops may have to respect that agreement and honor those Florida gun permits. Now, so far, the law has not been contested, but it is highly likely that a showdown is looming.
We look forward to the challenge.
City Councilman Darrell Clark sponsored the bill. Clark says he welcomes a face-off. He says pencil pushers in Florida shouldn't be deciding who can legally carry guns on Philadelphia streets.
This particular law is the first step of that challenge. We believe that you should not be able to carry that weapon unless you have the guidelines established by Pennsylvania.
More than 3,700 Florida permits have been issued to gun owners in the Keystone State, 904 right here in Philadelphia. According to this zip code list obtained by Fox29 Investigates, 70 of those Florida permits were issued in West Philadelphia's 19143 zip code, a heavy crime zone. Other areas packed with permits also have high crime rates. In fact, a man with a Florida permit faces murder charges over a 2010 shooting in Hunting Park. Cops say suspected drug dealers have also gotten Florida permits.
The majority of people that commit violent gun crimes, who are violent criminals or mentally unstable, they have obtained guns through illegal means.
Bruce Eimer is a psychologist and certified firearms instructor. Eimer says it's actually tougher to get a permit in Florida because the state requires firearms training. Eimer says Philly's new law is a paper tiger that won't stand up to the firepower of states' rights.
I think that everybody has to obey the law. And the law says in the state of Pennsylvania that the right of the citizens to bear arms in defense of themselves and the state shall not be questioned.
It's an absolute get-out-of-jail-free card for those that carry it because the police have to recognize it.
Brian Lentz is chief of the Philadelphia Gun Violence Task Force. Lentz says Florida's gun permit loophole needs to be plugged. He says the character provision in Pennsylvania's law helps weed out the bad guys who want to roam the city with a legal permit.
That's really the rub of it. It's whether or not local law enforcement that has the most knowledge of people in their neighborhoods and in their communities should be able to control who carries concealed guns. Again, this isn't owning guns. This is carrying a concealed gun on the street.
Now, last month, the U.S. House of Representatives passed the National Right to Carry Reciprocity Act. Now, under the bill, a permit to carry a handgun in one state would be valid in nearly every other state. Backers say it's a Second Amendment right. Opponents counter the law would endanger public safety. The bill has moved on to the U.S. Senate, where a battle is certainly expected. Folks.